Hello and welcome to the first edition of Vital Red Pill Raw and almost unedited. There will be only this picture and my whole voice for the whole time. I don't want to do any heavy editing, so relax. If you want to read the picture, but I will read it anyway. So yeah, relax, take a coffee or do something else. You can read it you can listen to it in the background. It's unedited, full of grammar mistakes and but maybe you will like it, or maybe not, whatever. I would like to regard it as a time capsule from the 12th of September 2020. And action! Hello and welcome for a quick update on the situation in Germany. In the first video I talked about the very first big protest that happened early of August 2020. Supposedly up to 1.3 million people were there. The police talked of 10,000, then 17,000, 20,000, and now they have updated the numbers to 30,000, so a small success there. Then there was the big protest in the end of August, where Berlin was inviting all of Europe to come to protest against the corona measures. As stated in the first video, the mayor of Berlin tried to stop the protests, tried to make them illegal. But the guys who were doing the demonstrations have very good and highly motivated lawyers. Lawyers that really worked till the very end of the night, made night shifts and protested and made good legal points against the illegal making of the protests. And they were successful. The courts judged that the demonstrations were legal and should be allowed, and even judged that masks are not necessary as it's outside, as the demonstrations will be taking place outside. In Germany you can go without a mask to the supermarket, but as soon as you enter the supermarket you have to put on the mask. And also in public transport. But when you're outside you don't have to wear the mask. Also, Angela Merkel once said, because she was filmed many times without wearing a mask at, I think it was May, during that time. And that time she said, oh yes, you know, you only need a mask if you cannot maintain the safety distance. But if you can maintain the safety distance, you don't need a mask. But after many German YouTubers made videos and jokes about it, that she was not wearing a mask while everybody else has to wear a mask when he's inside, she then was also seen wearing a mask in many public occasions, in many public appearances. Okay, now back to the big protest at the end of April in Berlin, the very big one. So, the lawyers managed to fight in the courts for the right to demonstrate in public, to protest in public. The organizers of the demonstration managed to negotiate with the courts to find a good way. Both parties agreed that plans should be made and protocols were thought out how to maintain the most amount of security during this event. The courts even recognized that if a big event is happening, then cancelling the event while it started would cause a lot more health damage would cause a lot more harm to the health than if just letting it go. Because if you cancel a big event, people will be leaving and there will be traffic jams and people will block us in tight entrances, tight places, and the safety distance will most likely not be maintained. So, everything looked pretty nice, pretty well. The demonstration was allowed, a lot of technology and equipment was prepared, everybody was there, so many people wanted to go there. Even some friends of mine went there. It was a pretty big event. But sadly it didn't went as smooth as planned. In Germany, police and politics are getting more and more connected, so to speak, so that many policemen only rise in the ranks if they have some good friends in politics and so on. And it seems that in Berlin it's the same case. So you have to know that the mayor of Berlin was in the German Democratic Republic, so in the Soviet part of Germany, he was part of the SED, of the political class. So, the same as Merkel, by the way. Merkel was also part of the political class of the DDR, of the Soviet Germany. So maybe that's why the mayor used not highly democratic measures to make sure that the protest could not happen as planned. What happened was that, so there were two events planned. A big demonstration, like a march, where people would march from one place to the other, and there would be a big line of people walking from A to B to C to E to F. and then finally arrive at the final place where the stage would be and many monitors, and people could maintain the safety distance and watch all the people talk and so on and so on. But sadly, the police fucked it up. The police blocked the demonstration march because they said that people were not wearing masks or not maintaining safety distance, and the police also blocked many roads so that people had problems to get from A to B or to arrive at the destination of the final protest. So the protest march could not start because it was blocked by the police and prevented from moving. This then caused, of course, that many people, they wanted to join the march. So this meant that people from the behind were pushing and people at the front could not move. This meant that a traffic jam was created and people were stuck, and then they could not maintain the safety distance. And then the police said, oh, look, you're not maintaining the safety distance, so we have to cancel the whole event because you're breaking the law, the corona law. Yeah, very stupid thing. So the police caused the whole event to be cancelled by the police. And yeah, it was not nice. Not fair play, so to speak. Now the big bombshell. Well, one of the bombshells. Later, some policeman got pretty fucked with the whole situation, and he leaked the internal papers of the day. He leaked the internal orders that he had received. And it became clear that the police was not informed about the court decisions. The police still had orders to make sure that everybody was wearing a mask, even if they are outside. So the police was, not up to date. And it's pretty, sad actually. So the police had outdated orders that had not taken into account the latest court decision rulings that happened one night before. Or was it one day before? I forgot the exact time. This means that although the protesters did all that the courts had asked them for, and even more sometimes, because some people just wear some mask outside just to prevent any more aggression from the police still did not let them go because they had outdated orders and thought that this is against the law, because they thought that everybody had to wear a mask, as it was declared a few days before. The result is that the demonstration march could not happen, could not start. But at least the demonstration event with the stage and the speakers, this one happened this time and was, allowed to go on for the whole time without any interruption. This is quite a nice thing. And there are even some drone footage things, but I will not include them this time because I want this video to be finished quickly and I'm too lazy to edit all the stuff the whole night. So the whole thing happened and it was live streamed, and the live streams. This was quite a strange thing because the live streams were interrupted all the time. It seems that the police used blockers because there were people walking from some outside of the place. No, they worked from far away. And then they walked closer to the location of the demonstration, of the main event, to the stage. And when they were outside, the live stream was fine. And as soon as they got close to the whole event, their streams cancelled. Many people had problems live streaming. Where in the first, at the beginning of August, there was a guy who managed to live stream for 6 hours straight. And it was quite a success. But this time nobody managed to live stream the whole event. The live streams got cancelled all the time. This is very strange. Maybe the police was using some techniques or technology, or there were just too many people in Berlin. The official numbers of the protests in Berlin is that there were 38,000 people. So at least, double the amount that the police said it was in the first time in August. But nobody really knows how many people were there, because they were all spread all over the place and maintained a safety distance of 1.5 meters. Yeah, the whole thing was quite a success. Many people were there. Many people could not arrive where they wanted to because the police blocked many roads. At least this time the police behaved more or less well. Last time the police blocked people who wanted to bring water to the protesters because it was fucking hot. But this time no such thing. I have heard of no such thing. But the police did also some other things, but those things got captured on camera and produced very unpleasant videos for the police. And there was also another big event that got, we will come to that later. So then, the whole thing had happened. The day went quite, not too bad. There was some police activity, but it was not too bad at all, so to say. The police was more or less cooperating. The big stage was not cancelled. So, what was the perception after these events? So the media tried to spin the whole thing, said no, there were not so many people and yada yada, only crazy people there, and look, we have filmed 5 crazy people and showed you those same people on repeat. Yeah, you know the game. Show the crazy people, show the crazy 0.1%, and then say it was the whole mass. And then say they are representatives of the whole movement and yada yada yada. Ah yeah, and there was also a demonstration camp in the gardens, in the public park. They had the legal right to do this. They had declared the demonstration before, and the court said, yes, okay, you can do this. And they wanted to stay there as long as it's necessary so that the government will retire. The people wanted to show the government that they are serious about this whole thing. But this whole camp was cleared violently by the police at near midnight, or was it the next day? Yeah, the police went in and beat people, and there was also some video footage that showed the police beating a pregnant woman. So they asked the woman to leave, she said no, maybe they asked her again, and then she said no, and then they just went violently, put her on the ground and made sure that, But somebody filmed it. So it looks very bad if you have 7 policemen and 1 pregnant woman on the ground being held by the policemen. This is not a good picture for the police. The other thing was the protests were very peaceful. So they didn't burn any cars, they didn't throw in any windows, they didn't cause any fuss. So the media had quite a problem because they could not show, oh look, those crazy people, they burned the car and they did this and that. No, everybody was very peaceful. So that's why the videos of the police beating protesters were bad PR. And also there was another video of a lady who got beaten in the back by policemen who had already restrained her. It looks pretty bad for the police if you are 7 people surrounding a peaceful woman and then you have to beat her in order to remove her from an illegal place where she was, doing her right, pursuing her right of demonstrating against the government. So the camp that had planned to stay there for as long as possible only stayed there for 1 night or even less. Ah yeah, and some other funny thing is, because this one woman was beaten badly and so on, the police had to issue an official statement because there were some rumors. So the rumor said that this lady afterwards died in police custody. So the police had to issue an official statement that no, the woman that we beat with 7 police officers, she did not die in our custody, she's still alive and well, and we released her. Yeah, also pretty bad PR for the police. Yeah, so, but in the days afterwards, like the Monday and Tuesday, the protests were on Saturday and Sunday, there, how should I say, there was a feeling in the atmosphere that people had expected more. They had expected the government to say, oh yeah, look, we fucked up. The only thing that happened was that, politicians were a bit angry and they said, oh, how dare they protest and do this and that, and they did another thing and la la la. But the protesters and everybody like me who were watching this whole event, we had expected a little bit more happening. But it did show. And this is why now I finally will read my text that I had written a few days after the protests of the end of August. Updates from Germany. The effects of the protests are now showing. A big shift happened. Good things are happening. First, an anonymous policeman gave a copy of the protest day police orders to the demonstrants, to the lawyers that were organizing the demonstration. The orders are legit and show that the police had wrong, outdated information. For example, it did not show the court order that declared that no mask had to be worn because it was an outside event. But the orders had the information that the mask had to be worn, and that's why the police acted in the wrong way. Second, it comes to light that many policemen were unhappy with the orders from above. Police units from all over Germany were sent to Berlin that weekend, and some of the harshest orders were declined by 2 police units, and only the 3rd unit did act out the orders. So, the Berlin top police guys, the head of the Berlin police, declared that the park had to be cleared. And it seems that police officer groups from other parts of Germany simply said, fuck no, we will not do this shit. And then the police officer said, okay, you guys from Bavaria, okay, you will not do this. And now you guys from the other part of Germany, maybe northern Germany, would you please go and kick out these protesters, peaceful protesters out of the parks because for political and blah 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 reasons. And they also said, no, fuck no, man. And then only the 3rd group said, okay, we will do this. So this, I think many policemen got red pilled that day. And many policemen, fucking angry, not happy with the situation. Because you don't become a policeman in Germany to beat German citizens. This is not what people aspire to when they become policemen in Germany. Okay, now back to the text. Videos are floating on the web of 5 policemen hitting a 60-year-old woman that was already on the ground. Also, a pregnant woman was arrested by 5 policemen, also filmed. Those acts get no love from the German people. And as I stated, the 60-year-old woman was the case where the police had to declare that no, she did not die. Those rumors that she died because we hit her are not true. Yeah, crazy stuff. Okay, number 4. Yeah, this is also hot. There was a press conference, and during the press conference one of the reporters asked if there were any organizations from the government present at the protests. And I think the official lady said, yeah, all organizations were present. So, just to, maybe I've translated it badly, so it means that also so-called V-Männer were present. V-Männer is Verfassungsschutzmänner. It means people who are from the government safety, or governmental snitches, informants, people who are pretending to be right-wing but they're getting paid by the government, and they're also getting orders from the government what to do, how to act, and so on and so on. I'm sure there's an English word that I'm missing now. Yeah, and those V-Männer were most likely also taking part in the event that was the storming of the Reichstag, but more on this later. Yeah, and the media only focuses on these 5 minutes of the storming of the Reichstag. So, well, it seems that Germany again used the Reichstag for political reasons in a false flag operation, similar to the Reichstagsbrand of the Nazi Party in the 1930s. Yeah, this place seems to be predestined for this. So, what happened was that there was another demonstration. The demonstration took place in front of the Reichstag, the main political building of Germany. The people were also talking about how we have to be peaceful, how aggression will not lead to anything. And then some lady said crazy rumors that President Trump has arrived in Germany, and he is in the US consulate, and he is signing a peace agreement with Germany right now. And we, the people, have to walk now on the stairs of the Reichstag and tell President Trump that we are supporting him and he should come and make peace with Germany, and so on and so on. And then people pushed aside some barricades and they ran on the stairs of the Reichstag. There are videos of this. So about 100 people went to the Reichstag, but they didn't storm it. They just went on the stairs. There were 3 policemen present at that time, and they were like, "Oh no!" And people didn't hit them, did nothing to them. They just crossed the barricades, went to the stairs, and then formed a group and started to take selfies and saying, "Yeah, cool, yeah, we're doing this, yay." One of these guys even had a Turkish flag. And then the police, arrived. It was just like a few seconds later, actually. A bunch of policemen came and they pushed down the protesters, even beat some women, but this is not well documented, so I cannot say much about it. But they just pushed down everybody using their batons and using soft violence, and pushed everybody down, and the whole situation was de-escalated, was cleared maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes later. But I think coincidentally there were a few cameras present, even from the official press, and they showed the storming of the Reichstag. Yes, they were, call it in the media, and they said, look, those crazy Nazi protesters in Berlin, they tried to storm the Reichstag, the heart of our democracy, and this cannot be accepted. And also some of those people were wearing the flag of the German Empire, the wartime flag of the German Empire. This is black, white, red, I think. And they said, yeah, because they are wearing this legal flag, and this flag is associated with right-wing thing, and blah, 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 yada, yada. So Nazis tried to storm the Reichstag, and this is all that happened on that day, only focus on this, and how dare they attack on the heart of democracy, yada, yada, yada. And even the president of Germany, not Merkel, the president, he's a different role, mostly only representative. Maybe like how's it called? Pence in the United States, I don't know. Even he said, oh no, look, they attacked the heart of democracy, how dare they, so evil, and blah, 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 and we have to protect democracy, and people were anti-democratic in Berlin, and so evil. And a few days later, he even gave the 7 policemen who were at first at the Reichstag, he literally gave them like medals of honor, because they protected the Reichstag so well from those evil Nazi protesters. If the protesters really wanted to go to the Reichstag, they had somebody inside. No, if they really wanted to achieve a lot, they just should have made sure that somebody would stay inside the Reichstag and trigger the fire alarm. Because if the fire alarm is triggered, all the doors would open automatically because of safety reasons, and then they could storm in, really storm inside. But they didn't want to storm inside the Reichstag. They just wanted to stand on the stairs and have some nice pictures. Yeah, German and the media focused only on this for days. They ignored the peaceful protesters. And our news, so-called news agencies, they made some videos during the protests, and they only focused on a few crazy guys, on some love and yay, love, peace, hippie style peaceful protesters, and some, let's call them hardcore QAnon protesters, who said that the elites are, what did they say? They said that elites are torturing children by doing blood games, so letting a bunch of children do some kind of what's this game, last man standing type of fight, and the last one surviving will not be eaten, and stuff like that. And the media said, oh my god, how crazy people, look how crazy conspiracies they're believing in, and yeah. And also they had some right-wing people there, and of course they focused a lot of time on them. And then there was the second part of that documentary from Der Spiegel, and that one was mainly focusing on the few aggressions of the police. So all of it was just showing that some people were clashing with the police, and then of course the storm of the Reichstag was the second half of the 10-minute video. So yeah, they really picked out the only aggressive things, the only aggressive scenes of the whole protest, where 10,000, 100,000 or maybe million of people were, and most of them were so peaceful that, well, they did not produce interesting pictures. So there are many rumors that the whole Sturm auf den Reichstag, the whole storming of the Reichstag, was actually planned by governmental agents and governmental people, just to make sure that this whole peaceful event could be shown in a bad light for the public. Because if you repeat the lie often enough, people will believe it. I think in Germany there are now like two big groups of people left. People who already have realized that the media is lying all the time about almost everything, and the other group of people who still believe the public narrative, who still believe the media. So the media can blatantly lie about everything that happened there, because people who still believe the media will swallow the lie, because they most likely also don't have many friends who went there to Berlin personally. And even if they have friends like this, they don't believe what their friends are telling. Yeah, it's just the good old framing of the narrative. But after the protest, some things also changed. For example, the news started to have a shift. For example, number 7, a newspaper wrote a good article. The article was called "What if the COVID idiots, were right all along?" It seems a lot is shifting. The article presented the other side of the argumentation. And another funny thing is that the German health minister is getting booed at wherever he goes, and supposedly also spit on by the people who see him. It seems some people said that Merkel is putting him, putting him on the train, putting him off the train, putting him in front of the train, like sacrificing him. Make sure that if something happens, he will take the blame. So she is forcing him to be humiliated by forcing him to attend election events where he goes and says, yeah, look, this friend of mine, his party colleague of mine, he's good, you should vote for him, and I'm the health minister, and blah blah blah, he has my support. But wherever he goes, he always gets booed at, and a lot of negative reaction from the people. Yeah, the shift is turning, the tide is shifting, whatever. Okay, yeah, and yeah, also a very, very, very huge thing. The health minister just said that, he said it on TV, well, from what we know now, it was a mistake to close barbershops and elderly homes. No shit, Sherlock, but the tone is changing. They can't maintain their old strategy. Yeah, and a lot of barbershop owners are very, very angry at him, because yeah, he knew that they didn't have to be closed, but many barbershops went bankrupt. Even a friend of mine who had a barbershop, well, he had to close the barbershop because no customers came, because he had to have to hold the barbershop closed and no income for, I think, 3, 4, 5 months. Yeah, now everybody who goes to the barbershop has to wear the mask and all these stupid things, yeah. Yeah. And the health minister just blatantly said, yeah, by the way, it was a mistake, and yeah, we could have known that we should not close it. But yeah, YOLO, and yeah, that's also why I think that he will most likely be sacrificed by Merkel, should things really shift. Yeah, number 10. Just after the protests, many politicians used and tweeted harsh words against the protesters. The politicians are scared. Even according to official numbers, there were about 2 times more people this time in Berlin than the first time. Yeah, politicians are scared. They said, "Oh no, 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 evil people, evil protesters. Yeah. We have to make more laws, harsh laws. Yes. Or protest. Every protest in Berlin now has to wear masks. Yes, and maintain safety distance and blah blah blah. And maybe be yeah. They're very scared. Scared of only 38,000 people protesting? So, all in all, despite all the bullshit, still a great success. And the fact that so many policemen saw what they were being forced into had a huge impact on them. I guess the next time many of them will think twice if they really should follow orders of beating peaceful protesters. I guess many got red-pilled that weekend. The narrative is shifting. They can't contain it. I guess they got to go damage control mode from now on, trying the oh yeah, we always knew it was like that ploy. If Germany managed to free itself, the rest of the world will follow quickly. Highly interesting times. The morale of the German truther scene is rising. The government overplayed its cards. German policemen are much better educated than US policemen. They have German police takes, I think, 3 to 5 years of training. This is also why the police is generally well respected by the German citizens. The fact now that so many videos show how police was overreacting against peaceful protesters, I guess the stress level of the police officers was very high. So, because the mood inside of the police is shifting and many police officers realize, what the fuck, who am I actually protecting from whom? Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, things are shifting. Because without a loyal police force, who will protect the places of power? The army is already highly pissed at the German government. Yeah, they are so pissed. Because the government treated the army like a piece of shit. Yeah, they are highly pissed at the German government after many years of very bad leadership. You know, Ursula von der Leyen, the current leader of the EU, was our defense minister for many years. She had no experience as a soldier because she was the Minister of Health, no, the Minister of Family first, and then she was the Minister of something else where she did not belong, and then she was the Minister of Defense. Yeah, like a female woman with 7 children suddenly becoming a Minister of Defense. This makes no sense at all. Yeah, no soldier liked her. There was the saying going, you know, the fish smells from the head. If a fish starts to rot, the head will rot first. This was a common saying. So everybody was saying, look, the head of the military department of Germany is highly smelly. And during that time, there were also the famous pictures of, military people, I think it was soldiers using broomsticks as rifles because they had no equipment. And also tanks using broomsticks or something like that. Yeah, the military was saved to death, so to speak. No expenditure, no investments in new stuff, and the military is already pretty low in Germany. A lot of things breaking down, and also Ursula von der Leyen had a highly fucked up scandal because it seems that she was using advisors when she was the leader of the army, so to say, because she had no fucking clue about no shit. She hired a lot of advisors and advisor companies. And guess who was owning those advisor companies? Yes, it was her son. Her children were owning the companies that she hired to do the job that she was supposedly qualified to do. She had, I think, a lot of advisors, more than anybody else ever had, and she paid millions or many millions to companies that her family owned. And yeah, the courts tried to sue her for this, but nothing happened of it yet. Yeah, and then this is like the Berater-Skandal. Yeah, so she did a fucking job. She did a very bad job in Germany, and then she was declared leader of the European Union. Yeah, you cannot make this shit up. Yeah, Ursula von der Leyen is a very strong European politics lady. Her family and has very close relations to all the important parts of European politics. Okay, back to the text. Because the police is fucked. They are very not happy with the whole situation, and the German army is more than angry at the German government. Oh my god, they really don't like the German government because it fucked up everything all the time. Yeah, so the army will not come. The police maybe will also start to think about if they should come or not. And I also highly doubt that EU tanks would be welcome in Germany. So, the ship is sinking. Let's see when the rats will realize that and start to flee from the ship. Let's see what plans they have prepared for this scenario. The winds of change are blowing so hard that their plans will also fail, very likely. Everything they do is failing now. Also, a very strange quantum field phenomenon happened. Yeah, so quantum field dynamic news. A high-ranked German Green Party politician caused an accident with his massive limousine because he was driving too fast during the rain. The accident caused an innocent 1-year-old to be in life danger right now. It's all over the press. It's unsure if he was driving too fast or if he ordered his driver to drive too fast. But because it's Germany and we all have, we spend a lot of time and money to get our driver's license, and this is why we are allowed to drive so fast on the Autobahn. So the mistake, doing this type of mistake, is obviously the mistake of the driver. There's no other excuse. German Autobahns are very safe. If you drive properly, you will not make any accident even during heavy rain. Because he was the only car that had this accident. So it means there was a personal fuck up. And because his car started to have because the driver lost control of the car, then the following car crashed into this car of the politician. The politician did not get hurt at all, and as said, a family car crashed into this politician's car, and the 1-year-old girl was put into hospital, and I think the other child was also in hospital. And now 1 week later, there was news that the child died. So yeah, it's very bad. Yeah, it seems that the politicians are realizing what the fuck I don't know, it's maybe some quantum field shit happening. Politicians. Yeah, okay. The field is shifting. Prepare for a shift that changes soon. Because the whole thing reminds me of the Chinese concept of the mandate of heaven. The government is perceivably losing it. Yeah, Google the mandate of heaven if you don't know it. It's maybe a quantum field related phenomenon. Yeah, and now for the news for the weekend. This weekend, a big protest in Munich was planned. And here again, I don't know who exactly, but I think the local courts of Munich or the governor of Munich, I didn't follow closely this whole thing. So, but this time also in Munich, the protests were supposedly cancelled by the government, by the local government. And the first level court said, no, it's a bad protest, you should not do it. And the demonstrators again went to the next higher level court, and there, as the news now in the night show, they struck success. The protest is allowed, and the protesters are even allowed to walk through Munich and meet in a place, and also the limitation how many people are allowed to come was also cancelled. So unlimited people are allowed to pursue the right of demonstration. This is very good news, so maybe we'll have some very nice pictures of Munich this weekend. And from a personal experience, yeah, more and more people are getting red-pilled. I had a conversation with a lady and she said, yeah, you know, life was good before Corona, and then the whole thing started, and then, I was forced to look into politics. These whole events are forcing many people to look closer into things they considered safe and sound before. Many people are red-pilling themselves, and the government is doing a lot to make sure that people are pissed. The biggest change is in the media. More and more people of the media are, I think they realized that it's now safe for them to say the truth, to speak the truth. Because maybe before they thought that only they were red-pilled, and in order to not lose their job, they kept on continue talking about they continue talking their normal narrative. But now people are realizing that the shift is coming. More and more people are waking up. So more and more official media places are starting to report the official, the real numbers. For example, there was a morning magazine and they said, look, corona numbers are increasing, but if you take into account the amount of positive tests per 1,000 tests, the rate is still the same as it was in April and has not changed since. So there's actually no real rise in infection numbers. Yeah, and they said this on morning TV. So, interesting. And also there was one of the big late night hosts. He had an interview about Corona with some special people, and then the people said to him, but we expect a rise of Corona during this and that time, and so on and so on. And then he said, wait a second, I have heard this so many times. If He said, yeah, wait a second. He said, yeah, okay, after Easter and everything will be over, and then blah, 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 and then after this, everything will be over, or if you don't do this, then we will have high rise of numbers, and if we have protesters without masks, then we will have a high rise of numbers of infections. And he said, well, I heard this story so many times. If we don't follow the official governmental route, then we will have very bad outcomes. But where are the bad outcomes? The number of corona cases in Germany is still very stable and falling almost to zero. And there had been no big outbreaks of corona after the Black Lives Matter protests, after the first Berlin protest with the 17 or 30,000 people. And now after the second Berlin protest, there's still no outbreak in corona in the whole country. How could this be? And yeah, he started to ask some very good questions and questioned the official narrative. It was pretty good stuff. Yeah, a big change is happening. Yeah, I really like this phrase. But wait a second, I've heard this so many times, but it never came true. Maybe you cried wolf too many times. Yeah, the late night show was on ZDF, the second German public TV. And the public TV on the YouTube channel, they only released the parts without the moderator asking the questions. So it was quite funny to look at. Because you see some people talking and then the cut and then people with wide open eyes like, what the fuck did you just say? No, Corona is really evil and everybody will die. Look, you just have to trust us and wait 2 weeks and la la la. Yeah, and now the news are dominated by the fire in the Moria camp in Greece. According to the Greece government and Greece officials and many other people, it stated that the fire was started by protesters who did not want to be locked in the camp because some people in the camp were tested positive. And the protesters, no, not the protesters, the refugees, sorry. The refugees didn't want to stay in the camp where some people were tested positive for corona. So they started a fire because they didn't want to be locked in with corona, and also they threw rocks at the firemen who came to extinguish the fire. This is why the firemen didn't manage to extinguish everything, I guess. So what happened now is that German politics are saying, look, yeah, there are only 10,000 people. We have to get them all to Germany to save them. And yeah, now refugee theme is back on the topic of today. Also, supposedly, according to rumors, it also happened, a similar thing happened in Germany. There was a refugee camp, and the refugee, not camp, it was like a refugee home, a big place, like a building. And the building had also a kitchen. And one refugee set the whole thing on fire, supposedly, because there was not enough Nutella. So he set the whole thing on fire because Germany was not treating him well by not offering him an unlimited amount of Nutella. This is why he burned the whole place down. Yeah, and this is the situation in Germany. Yeah, and again for the protocol, there has been no rise in corona numbers after the big protest in Berlin. The numbers are still, yeah, the same as they were before. The only thing that is rising everywhere in the whole world is the amount of tests that are being conducted. If you live in a place outside of Germany, please try to find information on the amount of the tests that are being done every day. Try to find a statistic that goes back a few months so that you can see that in April there were, for example, only 100,000 tests, and now there are like 1 million tests done. For example, those are numbers in Germany, I think. Yeah, so they have doubled and tripled the amount of tests they're doing in the last I think in the last month, more or less. Okay, since I'm already making such a long video, why not add some more things? Yeah, other information corona related. There were some protests, and on those protest demonstrations, they had also a stage, and on this stage some policemen were speaking. So one policeman said, hello, this is the police, and I'm against corona rules. And this guy got suspended from his work just a few days after this whole event. So as a policeman, you're not allowed to say that you're against corona rules in Germany, even if you're a private citizen. And this happened, I think, to about 5 policemen in Germany. Yeah, this is also a sign for other policemen. Look, if you speak, you will get kicked out of the force. But the good thing is because, yeah, they're still getting pay. Until the whole thing is resolved. They were just suspended and they will maybe kicked out of the police force, which will take some time. So at the moment they're doing nothing and getting paid for it. Oh yeah, and another guy got put into, removed from active duty into some like office duty, something like this. Also another thing, there is professor of mathematics or statistics, something like that, in Hanover. And he also said, look, guys, I checked the numbers. I'm good with numbers. I have literally a doctor title in numbers. Dealing with numbers is my biggest thing in life. And I checked all the numbers and they do not add up. So please, could we please stop the whole corona rules, because they're not necessary, as can be shown with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F, until the end of the alphabet. Yeah, and what happened is that his position will not be prolonged, so he will be fired. His position will not be prolonged, so he will have to quit his position despite being a good professor, and the university is already looking for a new guy to fill his role. Ah yeah, also another funny thing. Wow, currently news number 1 on the Tagesschau. Interesting. Is that in Germany there are so-called sentinel praxis. This means I think there are about 30 or 50. No, there are around 100. How do you call this? Health places, health offices, doctor offices, and those offices are doing representative tests. So they're checking who is having what type of cold virus. So if you go into this praxis and you say, hello, doctor, I have a cold, they will say, okay, look, yes, okay, we will do a very expensive test and to see what virus exactly it is. And then they will check if it's what type of virus this is, and they will send it to the main health office, and then the main health office, based on the numbers, will make a math and a graph, and then they will be able to say, okay, yeah, it seems that during this time there was coronaviruses, and then there were the normal flu viruses, and then this viruses, to see what type of virus infects how many people. And because there are about 100 of these praxis, of these health places, doctor places, I forgot the English word, this means that they are quite representative, statistically speaking. And the funny thing is, the last time a COVID virus was measured there, was found in these praxis, was end of April. Or according to this news article, it's end of July. So it means that over 1 month, there has been not a single person with a coronavirus in these 100 health places or doctor places. Yeah. But we still all have to wear masks everywhere, and children and pupils have to wear masks in class, and even though in one place the court said, oh yeah, you wearing mask in class is not necessary because it's not required, but still many schools said, oh, did you say it's not required, so we will make it voluntarily forced mask wearing. So we will make a local rule in the school that you have to wear a mask, even though the government said it's not necessary. Yeah, and according to some rumors, a child, I didn't confirm this, I just heard it, maybe it's just a rumor, a child, a 13-year girl was in the school bus with a mask, and she collapsed and died because of it. And also other people say that the amount of mushroom, like it's fungi infections, where you have mushrooms growing in your lungs, is increasing. Because, yeah, people are wearing the mask, or students are wearing the mask, some people are wearing the mask all the time. And because of that, there's the whole breathing mechanism doesn't work as well. And, yeah, some things that should get out do not get out. And, yeah, mushroom spores. Is it spore infection? I don't know the English word. I'm too lazy to look it up now. Yeah, this is also on the rise. And, yeah, a lot of fucked up shit. Yeah, also small news. The WHO released a press release that said, oh, you think vaccine will you think the vaccine will solve everything? No. Even if we have the vaccine, we will still have to rely on additional measures. So yeah, they're trying to prime us that, yeah, not everything will go back to normal after the vaccine, even if the vaccine should be there. Yeah, since I'm on the roll, speaking of the vaccine, the big Oxford vaccine, there was a guy who made a very good video. So the facts are the vaccine is now cancelled because one guy had spine infection, or spine, so his immune system is attacking his spine. This is pretty fucked up and should never happen, but it's most likely caused by the vaccine. But the vaccine manufacturer says, oh well, we don't know, so you first have to say that the vaccine caused this, otherwise we're innocent. Yeah, the usual game. So this is why these tests have been stopped now. But if you imagine that, I think the first test they had maybe a few hundred or maybe a few thousand people. So if you take a few thousand people and one already got such a high event that they could not hide, such a high adverse event, such a harmful adverse event that they had to cancel the whole thing. This shows a lot that this vaccine is not safe for public consumption. And also the vaccine is, Yeah, they did a test with rhesus monkeys, the monkeys that are very similar to humans. This is why they're using many vaccine tests. And the test showed that the vaccine did not prevent the monkeys from getting infected. They only supposedly prevented the monkeys from getting very, very bad negative effects of the disease. So they only got normal bad effects of the disease, but were as infectious as normal monkeys, or even more infectious. Yeah, so the vaccine will not stop the infection stream of this infection thing, of this disease, if the numbers are correct. And then the second thing was that the side effects of the vaccine were shown, and 70% of the people, well, normally speaking, if you take the vaccine, then you will have to go to the doctor and tell that you're ill for a few days, because you will get most likely an flu-like symptoms. And this is so hardcore that they were really doing this vaccine test in two groups. One group just got the normal vaccine, and the second group got the vaccine plus paracetamol, the drug that you take if you have a massive infection. So they're even trying maybe to skew the numbers, or maybe because the numbers are so high and it cannot do it otherwise. So you have to take the drug, and you have to take you have to take the vaccine, and then you have to take a drug against the side effects of the vaccine. Okay, let's end on a positive note. Because of the whole corona thing, a lot of people have, well, spent a lot of time to research health-related topics on their own. And for example, now the topic of vaccines has received a lot of attention from the whole world. Because some vaccines before were only tested for adverse events for 24 to 48 hours. So somebody got tested, so the test person went to the office, they got the vaccine, then they went back home, then 2 days later they came back and they said, okay, I had this side effect. The people wrote it down, and then they said, okay, that's it, thank you, go back home. And then these side effects were noted as the official side effects on the label. Yeah, so, but now, because the whole world is watching, all the vaccine manufacturers have to make at least greater efforts. They cannot hide it so easily as before. Yeah, so a lot of topics are getting a lot of media attention. And also some other side effects are happening. For example, you know, the saying bread and circus, that you have to give the people enough food and enough entertainment, and they will be distracted from all the interesting things. Now, because all the sports events worldwide, the people cannot go to the sports stadium to watch soccer, for example, in Germany. So this means a lot of people and especially a lot of men, have no more time to think about their life and all the other things, and maybe research topics like health or politics or vaccines to see if everything is right or not. And also another highly interesting thing is a shit ton of German channels, normal channels, like for example a fitness coach, or a guy who did videos on cars, or a guy who did videos on marketing, or a guy who did like a life coach things. A lot of channels like this started to say, okay, we're doing corona related stuff now. Like imagine you subscribe to Mr. Joe's top car tips, and suddenly you see this guy saying, look guys, corona is not what you think, it's something different, and this is happening. And a lot of people who were not political at all have started this kind of thing, and some of them are doing it like totally all the time right now. And also some doctors who believe that vaccines are good and everything's fine and yada yada. Many of them are also waking up. They realize, wait a second, if this is not true, and politics is saying A, but I'm saying B, and this is happening, maybe something more is happening in the world. And even doctors are now being awoken by the global event that is called the coronavirus. So, as I stated many times, the apocalypse has begun. Everything that was in the dark, the light is now shining on. And as you know, bacteria cannot survive in the sunshine. A lot of good things are happening in the world. A lot of bad things are getting illuminated. And also from some other crazy outside sources, I can tell, a lot of good things are happening in the world. So, what is the final plan? If you're surrounded by liars, if there are many liars in a group, but you always tell the truth, then people will realize, wait a second, he was always saying A, and still is saying A, but all the other people said, I was always saying C and A, and the point is, the lies will collapse on their own if you only have to stay vigilant and truthful to yourself. This is the best advice I can give now. Also keep in mind that all your actions have great role model effect. So if you are with people, behave in a very good way, and then you will show other people, hey, wait a second, I don't have to be scared, I don't have to be this, I don't have to be that, I can just be honest and very awesome to other people and helping and being a good guy. And they will maybe imitate you. So be the lighthouse. Be the lighthouse for those around you. Shine the light on them. If they want to, they can follow to you. They can follow you to the safe harbor. The safe harbor of truth and, yeah, of the safe harbor of not ignoring reality, but seeing reality for what it is. Well, yeah, it's actually reality. Yeah. Okay, I have talked for a shit ton of time and you have listened to a lot of unedited stuff. So, thank you for listening, I guess. Yeah, if you like it and yeah, if you want to show me that you have listened to it all, write the number 33 in your comment below. Somehow, just write like, hey, hello, 33, blah, 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 blah. Then I will see that you have listened to it all. If you want more of this type of almost unscripted, long talking, badly grammar stuff, then please write it in the comments below. And maybe I will do more of this stuff. Yeah, okay. Have a good day, night, whatever. And yeah, Vital Red Pill out.